Namaskar everyone. Welcome to another episode of Science Heroes, the series where we bring about amazing heroes from different branches of science. And today in this episode, we have a very special guest, Dr. Uttam Ojha, who is pursuing his postdoctoral research at Department of Pharmacy at Kyungpook National University. Originally, Dr. Ojha is from Nepal and has an impressive academic career, having done his master's and Ph.D. here in South Korea. We are thrilled to have you here on the show. Welcome, Dr. Ojha.
Thank you so much.
So, how are you feeling today?
I'm feeling a little bit nervous, so please don't ask me difficult questions.
Okay, sure, I'll ask you easier questions, okay? Can you tell our audience more about yourself?
First of all, thank you so much for having me in your show. And hello and namaste to everyone. My name is Uttam Ojha, and I'm from Nepal, as she said. And I'm from Doti, and which is very far from the capital. And after completing my master's and my undergraduate study in Pokhara University from Nepal, I came to here for my further study, and I recently finished my Ph.D. and currently I am doing my postdoctoral research in Kyungpook National University, Daegu, South Korea.
Thank you for your introduction. Now I have brought a list of questions for you. Are you ready?
Yes.
Okay, let's get started with this video. So, what sparked your interest in pharmacy?
Do you need an honest answer or the diplomatic answer?
Honest answer.
Okay. So, to be honest, it was not my strong decision that I will study only pharmacy and not others. However, I was certainly interested in the medical science. And at that time, perhaps maybe these days as well, the most reputed undergraduate course in medical science in Nepal was the MBBS. But it was very expensive, and kind of the process for getting a scholarship was also tough for me. So based on my academic qualifications and my economic condition, among them pharmacy was the best for me. And also before joining the university, the only thing I knew was pharmacy is a shop where the medicines are kept, and pharmacist is a person who sells medicine. That's all. But after joining the undergraduate course in Pokhara University, I realized that pharmacy is not only about selling medicine. It covers several aspects of the healthcare system, and pharmacy is a vital part of the healthcare system. It covers the manufacture, synthesis, discovery, dispensing, monitoring of the medicines to ensure the safe and effective use of the drugs. And moreover, when I came to South Korea for master's and PhD, and I practically knew that the drug discovery process is not as easy as we think. If you even a small drug that you find in the market has gone through a long journey. Many developed countries are spending a huge amount of money and giving a high effort into the drug discovery. So now I realize that pharmacy or the pharmaceutical science covers all of these aspects. So now I'm interested, and I think I did the good choice. Yeah.
Thank you so much for sharing with us this story. So can you tell us about your academic journey from Korea to Nepal?
Sure. It is also a long story, but I will try to make it short. My academic journey started in Doti, where I completed my primary and lower secondary level of education. And at that time, in addition to the teachers at school, the only teacher at home was my father. Luckily, he was my teacher at school also. I still remember when we used to go out for grazing the cattle outside in the rainy season. He used to teach me with an umbrella. So I just mean to say that he created such an academic environment that shaped my initial academic journey. So my first source of inspiration was my father, and of course other family members and my mother also helped during this journey. And then after completing my undergraduate course in Pokhara University in Nepal, first person who opened my door to South Korea is Dr. Uttam Ojha, who is in the US now, and he has inspired me and guided me for a long time, and I am really grateful to him. Among the seniors, then the other name that comes to my mind right now is Dr. Pawan Kumar Raut. From the beginning till now, he is constantly helping me and guiding me. Even though sometimes I feel lazy and I forget, but he always inspires me and motivates me. So I am also grateful to him. Actually, if you can take everything and everyone in this nature is your source of inspiration, might be your source of inspiration. So there are some very close friends since my undergraduate who are constantly helping me and inspiring me. Some of them are in the US, some of them are in Australia, and some of them are here also in South Korea. As you remember, last time one of them came here as a visiting guest professor. Dr. Shubham. Yeah, so there are many friends who constantly help me, and also many of my friends, seniors and teachers, and also the Nepalese community in Korea, including you, are also the part of my academic journey. And also my supervisors in my master's, Professor Dongyong Choi, and my supervisor in Ph.D, Professor Yumi Lee, and all the Korean lab members, they are also equally responsible for my academic journey. And last but not the least, my wife, who is technically supporting us today. And she has also an immense role in my life, and she always motivates me in my ups and downs. And especially during my PhD course, she was the backbone for the success of PhD journey. Yeah, so there are many inspiring person in my life for this academic journey.
Thank you so much for sharing with us this. Your mentors, your parents, and your family must be really proud of you now. So let's go on to next question. How does the research and academic environment in Korea different from what you have experienced during your undergraduate studies in Nepal?
I think the major difference in academic environment and research in Nepal and Korea is that the exposure to research techniques and some evaluation systems. Here in South Korea, for masters and PhD students, lectures are few and the research focus is high. So some evaluation systems are also based on some presentations and assignments only, not the very long exams. However, I am not familiar with the academic environment and research exposure to the graduate students in Nepal these days. I hope it is much progressed recently. And similarly, I found that in undergraduate course also, the students get exposure to the research techniques during their internship. And also I realized that the evaluation systems are based on the multiple choice question, not the long answer type question, that we usually have. And also in my undergraduate course, I was lucky that I got a chance to be involved in the research activities. So I hope the same in other universities as well.
Let's move on to the next question here. So can you share us about your research that you have done in your academic career so far?
Sure. In general, the research in pharmaceutical science can be broadly viewed in two aspects. One is the chemistry-based research and another is the biology-based research. In chemistry-based research, the drugs or the medicines are synthesized based on their structures, and in biology-related research, either the effects of those drugs in treating a particular disease are checked, or the novel mechanisms by which the disease is caused are discovered. So in my master's and PhD, the research belongs to the biology related research, and in my master course my research focus was the neuroscience, and to be more specific, it was related to Parkinson's disease, and which is a chronic neurodegenerative disorder. And the major symptoms of this disease are the muscular dystrophy and rigidity and the constant tremor in the body. And my master thesis is a little bit interesting and easy to connect with the people because it is related to fasting. The many health beneficial effects of fasting on health are been found from the ancient times. And in our Hindu culture also, there are some specific days on which fasting is considered to be good, and people practice fasting on those days as well. So my master's thesis also revealed that fasting or the alternative day fasting in mice protects them from the toxin-induced Parkinson's disease. So I suggest everyone please keep fasting once a week or at least once a month. And the research in my PhD was related to the liver disease, chronic liver disease, and especially the liver fibrosis, and which is a common feature of almost all kind of liver diseases. It can lead to the liver cancer if it is remained untreated. And also the common cause of this disease is excessive alcohol consumption and some genetic factors, and also our food style, like the eating high fat content food like pizza or burgers. So these kind of factors are associated with this disease. Even though there are some treatment options in the clinical trial, but no any drugs have been approved yet. So it is better to have some precautions to prevent the liver fibrosis.
Thank you so much for sharing about your research. Maybe this can be inspiration to many of the people who would like to pursue the similar career as yours. Now let's move on to the next question.
Okay.
So what specific area of pharmacy are you focusing on during your postdoctoral research now?
As I said, my research in PhD was related to liver disease, So the research on my postdoctoral research also a kind of expansion of my PhD work. However, our lab is focusing on the tumor microenvironment too. Especially my supervisor, Professor Yumi Lee, she has contributed a lot to the science. And the main theme of our lab these days is to study the vascular endothelium as a tissue microenvironment or the gatekeeper of the tissue microenvironment for several disease pathogenesis. So if we can find some mechanisms how this vascular endothelium can occur in different diseases, then we can develop some targeted therapies. So this is what we are doing now.
Yeah, maybe some people may be interested on this topic, so maybe we can put your published work on the description section later.
Sure.
Yeah. So let's move on to the next interesting question. As an international student and researcher here in Korea, what challenges did you face and how did you overcome them? Can you share with our audiences?
Okay, I think the major challenge for every foreigner in South Korea is the language, I guess, in their daily life, and also specifically outside of the research or the lab or their workplace, and sometime in documentation process. So to overcome this, the only way is to learn Korean language. So some universities and the Korean government provide some special class for Korean language, and we should not miss them. And we can learn from YouTube or any other online classes, and we can learn from our Korean friends as well. And also if you are living in Daegu, you can learn from her as well, because she speaks very perfect Korean. Yeah. And another challenge in Korea for researcher is, I think, the work environment and some expectations from you. Sometimes there might be high expectations from you, and you may need to work hard for that, and it can cause some work related stress or frustration in your daily life. So to overcome this, you need to balance your work and personal life, and you should have the healthy lifestyle to reduce the stress, and also you should build some strong network among your friends so that they can help you and they can guide you if you have some problem.
Yeah, that's true. Now, can you share us any significant cultural difference between Nepal and Korea?
Okay, rather than the cultural differences, I want to mention some impressive habits or the cultural practices that I have seen in Korea. But please do not misunderstand that I'm not comparing between Nepal and Korea. I'm just mentioning some impressive cultural practices that I have seen in Korea during my research. The first one is punctuality. Usually the Koreans are very punctual. If your lab meeting is scheduled to be started at 10 a.m., it will almost start at 10 a.m. And if you are traveling to somewhere and your boss is scheduled to leave at 10 a.m., then you need to be there either before 10 a.m. or exactly at 10 a.m. Otherwise, you will miss your boss. So another good cultural practice I have seen is respecting people by their age. Usually, people respect here to the older people, regardless of their academic environment or academic positions or the job position. So this is also what I like. Another, I want to mention some good practices in the hospital and the treatment systems in Korea. If you go to hospital, you don't need to pay at first. After a complete checkup and treatment, you can pay just before going home. So this means that they give the first priority to your treatment, not the other things. This is also very good. And another thing I want to share is the insurance system here is also very good. It covers almost more than 70 to 80% of your cost, which in fact is very huge relief. And also as a pharmacist, I want to share that here in pharmacy they practice the unit dose dispensing system, the unit drug dose dispensing system, and this also is very important, and it can reduce a lot of medication errors. So these are some very few good cultural practices that I have seen in Korea.
Thank you so much for sharing this. It can be helpful to the future student who would like to come to Korea. In your opinion, what are the most pressing issues in pharmacy and pharmaceutical research today?
I think cancer is still remaining the leading cause of death worldwide, and treating cancer also represents a heavy healthcare burden. And the most common treatment options for cancer these days include first the surgery and chemotherapy and some hormonal therapy and some immune therapy and some targeted therapy. But the major challenge is the drug resistance. You know, cancer cells are very clever and they change their way of living every time. So it is very difficult, and they show the resistance to the therapeutic drugs that are being currently used. And another challenge is the specificity. So it is very difficult to kill only the cancer cells in your body. Drugs will kill other healthy cells as well. So this is the reason why the anti-cancer drugs are showing a lot of serious side effects. And similarly, some recurrence and some metastasis are also the challenges for treating cancer. So till now, the nanotechnology has shown some promising results in delivering the small molecules to the cancer site and in the treatment of cancer. And some nanomedicines are also approved by FDA, which are really useful and turning the life of patients. Our lab has also contributed to this field, and especially Professor Yumi Lee has published several papers regarding the use of nanomedicines in the treatment of cancer, and which show the anti-tumor and anti-metastatic activities. And also, as I said, that my PhD work was related to the liver disease. So the many chronic liver diseases, for example, non-alcoholic steatohepatitis and the liver fibrosis, are also challenges because no any licensed drugs have been approved so far. So these are also a kind of challenge in the healthcare system. So we need to have precaution to prevent the chronic liver diseases as well.
Beautifully said. I think one day we hope the scientists will be able to find cure to the cancer as well. As a science hero, you are inspiring future generation of scientists who are watching you right now. What advice would you give to young students who aspire to follow a similar path in pharmacy and research like you?
Okay, not only pharmacy. Actually, the first suggestion I want to give to every youth is don't hurry to choose any subject for your career. Take some gaps and ask your seniors and any other experienced person in the same field as much as you can. In the pharmacy, make some short-term and long-term goals and determine where you want to see yourself in the future, and also judge yourself whether you are really fit for this career or not. And in the case of research in pharmaceutical science, I think there is a good scope for the pharmacy student. So if you think you can spend your whole life in the research, then it might be a good choice for you. Yeah, maybe
it may be helpful to the people who are like watching you right now. So thank you for this beautiful answer. So apart from your academic and research pursuit, do you have any hobbies or activities that you unwind and relax during your free time to balance your work life and maintain your well-being while pursuing this demanding career in academia?
Okay, I think this is the most significant question in the 21st century. Now it has become really essential to maintain our work life and to maintain our well-being. If you closely look around the nature, nothing is fixed and permanent here. Everything is changing and temporary. If you see these green leaves, if you think that these are always same, it is also not true. Very soon these green leaves will fall and then another new leaves will come. And sometime if you go to the beach and you may think that, oh, this beach is always same. That is also not true, because a lot of new water has already replaced the previous water which is evaporated. So I just mean to say that nothing is permanent and nothing is fixed here, but we are living in such a way that we will live here forever. Every morning we wake up and we clean our body and we clean our clothes, but we don't care about our mind, which is full of anger, jealousy and greed and ego, and also millions of negative thoughts. So it is very essential to clean our mind in addition to our body. So these days, recently, I am a little bit curious about the fact that there is something beyond this material body. If you closely look the nature, there are highly regulated rules. So some force or something is regulating these kind of rules, so which we cannot perceive if our mind is dirty or if we are contaminated by the mind. So we need to be free from mind. So recently I'm giving some time for myself to clean my mind, and Dr. Arjun is guiding for me for this. And yeah, every morning these days I at least try to meditate and try to clean my mind. So I suggest everyone also, please adopt a healthy life, not only physically but mentally. You need to be healthy and you need to think positive.
Yeah, that's true. We need to keep our mind also healthy, not only the body. So yeah, that's really informative. So do you have any memorable or funny experience that you would like to share with our audiences while living here in Korea?
Okay, I want to share one funny incident, and it was the time when there was earthquake in Nepal, maybe in 2015, I guess. So I was in Daegu, and we were raising some funds to help the affected people in Nepal from the earthquake. And at that time, I was searching for restroom, and there was a Korean guy, and in Korean it is called 화장실. So I asked him where is 화장실, and I walked a long way with him, and he finally took me to the 6th floor of a big building, and he told that here it is. And there were a lot of people sitting around, and they were surprised, and they asked me, what do you need? And I said, I need a restroom. And they were again surprised and laughed. And at last I realized that I said the wrong pronunciation. I said 행정실 instead of 화장실, and which means the office. Yeah, that was a funny incident for me.
Yeah, that's really funny. During the first time, we also don't know the correct pronunciation, and
yes,
it often happens, but no need to worry. Yeah. So let's move on to our next question. Are there any misconception or stereotype about pharmacy that you would like to clarify?
As in the beginning, I told that I also used to think that pharmacy is only about selling medicine. So I guess among other people also, maybe there are some misconception about the pharmacy. I think the first one is that pharmacists never interact with patients. It is true that pharmacists interact with patients less than the doctors. That is true, but it is also not true that pharmacists only just give the drugs, but they should interact with patient more carefully and in more detail to ensure the effective use of the medicines. And another misconception I think is the pharmacists work only in hospital pharmacy or the community pharmacy. That is also not true. Pharmacists are working in different fields, such as the academic institutions and also in the industrial field. And as you can see, me also, I am working in research field. So it is not limited to work only in hospital pharmacy or community pharmacy. Pharmacists are working everywhere in the healthcare system. And another misconception may be that the pharmacy field has no specialist. Like you can see in the field of doctors, they have the specialist like the gynecologist or the neurosurgeon or orthopedics or any other. In the same way, pharmacist has also the specialist like the pharmacotherapy or oncology related pharmacist, or also the infectious disease related pharmacies. So I just want to mean that there are also specialists in the pharmacy field. Another misconception might be that the pharmacy work is not as much important as the medical work. So this is also not true. Pharmacists are very essential, and if there will be no pharmacist, there will be no one to take care or to ensure that the patients are getting really benefited from the medicines or not. So pharmacists might not be in the front line, but they are also the vital part of the healthcare system. So these misconception might be related to the pharmacy work. Yeah.
Thank you so much for clarifying this. Pharmacists are also the real hero behind the scenes. Yes. So yeah, they are also doing really great job for contributing to the health sector around the globe. So yeah. So what are your future plans and career aspiration beyond your postdoc? And do you see yourself staying in Korea or returning to Nepal to contribute to the scientific community there?
My future plan is to continue my research and give some impactful outcomes which can contribute to health science. And also my ultimate plan is to return to Nepal and contribute what I can. But I recently finished my study, so I need some more time to gain some more experience and to build a good network so that we can go and we can contribute to the society as a team, not as an individual. Yeah, this is my future plan.
Yeah, I wish you best with your plan. I hope you succeed with your plan. Lastly, as a researcher in the field of pharmacy, what do you hope to achieve or leave a lasting impact on the world through your work?
I don't believe in magic or some kind of instant results. My only plan is to grow and learn day by day. So the results will be the byproducts of your hard work. So my future plan is, I hope one day my research work will give some impact.
I wish you all the best with that as well. We are almost at the end of this episode. Do you have anything else that you would like to share with our audience?
Okay, at last, I want to tell everyone that stay healthy and happy and work hard, but don't take life too seriously. In addition to your work, give some time to your personal life as well. And everyone and everything in this nature is very unique and special. So don't compare it with others and have a blissful and cheerful life. And lastly, once again, I want to thank you for providing me opportunity to speak in your show. Thank you so much.
Beautifully said, Dr. Ojha. Thank you so much for sharing your incredible story with our audiences. To our listeners, if you'd like to know more about the research work of Dr. Ojha, we will put it in the description section. If you enjoyed this episode with Dr. Ojha, please don't forget to subscribe to this channel. And in the next episode, I'll be bringing another hero from another branch of STEAM. Until then, stay curious, keep exploring the wonders of science. Thank you. Dhanyabad. Namaskar.